Spider's back! He's back again! Here we go! Yes! Yes, we do! It's needed.
Spider, spider, here comes Spider, CFL's red zone.
Hit it!
Spider, spider, here comes Spider, CFL's red zone.
Hit it!
In the red zone.
Woohoo! Yeah, clap, clap, clap for the Wolfman. Clap for the Spider-Man. Anyway, I'm all wired up here. I'm excited because I'm back, and I want to have let you people know that. Okay, and I want to thank you again for your viewership, every one of you, and push the subscribe button if you don't mind. I mean, I never ask. That's why I don't have a lot of subscribers. I've never asked. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? But anyway, I'm back, and I want to be more consistent when I want to tell you I'm going to be back. So I'm going to be back every week now, or would it be the longest I would go would be every 2 weeks. But I'm going to try to get back every week. It is weird weather here. We're getting a lot of cold weather and really weird, you know, in May we had a lot of cold too. So much for the climate change scam, right? It's getting colder, not warmer. And we got a carbon tax coming, 14 and 17 cents. 14 on gasoline and 17 in furnace oil. You imagine that? When we have virtually no pollution here, none. It's unbelievable, what a scam. We're being robbed, but I want to talk about that. But the last time about the fires, wildfires, and Trudeau's now saying it's climate change. And of course, to try to cover up for his climate change scam when he's robbing us and he's lying. He's corrupt, and the whole thing is corrupt. The climate change is caused by natural variable factors from the universe. Honest scientists knows this. 1,000, like I said, have signed off on it. It's ridiculous what's going on and how we're being lied to because the media is all bought. And what's going on in the States is unbelievable. I don't want to talk about, but there wasn't a nursing home that went down. It was a daycare that went down. 150 homes in Talon and Hammond's Plains, not far from here. But anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore, and I'm sorry I talked about all, but it's true what's going on in Halifax. They've ruined our city, these liberal communists with their drug panhandlers and drug tent cities loaded with druggies and criminals at Brigham and Spring Garden Road. I didn't tell you that, but that's what's going on. And I've done the public guards, and it's a big cover-up, and they're promoting it, the radical leftists, communists, liberals, socialists. And they're corrupt and crooked, are promoting this as homelessness. It's not true. 95% of them are criminals and druggies, and they're destroying our city. And the communist radical leftists, Mayor Savage and his gang is destroying our city, and Trudeau's destroying our country and our cities. Anyway, that's enough. It's 3 minutes. I'm not going to rant anymore. I'm going to get right into my session because I got 2 sessions coming. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but I wanted to get off my chest again. So anyway, let's get into my session, okay? Okay, I have some news to announce, okay? Some good news, okay? I have finished my ad, okay, my radio ad pitch that I'm going to be pitching. It's now 2.5 minutes, that's all. And I condensed it, brought it down. And I'm not going to do it today, but when I have it finished, because see this microphone here? That's a studio mic. It's going to be hooked up to my new computer, and I'm going to do the recording there. And my son, who's home, my amazing son, by the way, and I know all good parents out there, decent parents. I love your sons, and they're all amazing too. I wrote a song actually it's on the internet under my artist name, Wilde, like Oscar Wilde, it's spelled W-I-L-D-E, Wild Spider with a Martini Y. That's my artist name. When I was in my 40s, I did an album, a homemade job, and I wrote a song called My Amazing Son. So on Father's Day, it's a really interesting song to listen to, so check it out. And my son is going to be home on Father's Day. Haven't been with him Father's Day, I can't remember. Okay, he's going to be home from, he lives out west. So anyway, and he's home for his buddy's wedding. And to give him a plug, a little bit of advertising for him, my son is the one that created Square Circle. And it's, if you like wrestling, he loves wrestling, and he has a site called Squared Circle Apparel, and it's his product, his lines, and he's got hats and he has like sweaters and t-shirts and shorts and water bottles, and he does sports, like he does baseball jersey. I think he does hockey too, but he does sports and with the Square Circle logo and brand, and it's fantastic. You can see you can see it on the site. He has a lot of a really good site, okay, and a lot on Facebook and Twitter too that you can click on from his site. Anyway, check him out, Square Circle. It's quite a brand. He's doing really well, and he's doing well internationally too with it. And in the wrestling, ring circle. So that's how we come up with the logo, Square Circle, and that's the logo there. Isn't that cool? It's really a well-known brand now, and well respected and well supported, and he does very well with it. So check it out if you're a wrestling fan. You may want to buy his Square Circle merchandise and apparel, okay, or in team sports too. And he has all kinds of goodies there. Okay, that's Square Circle. Here we go. Let me just try it on. There we go. My son's Square Circle Apparel product line on the Square Circle Apparel site. Okay, check it out. Anyway, that's a word from my sponsor, from my son. I wanted to do that for him. He deserves it. Anyway, okay, so let's get into the radio ad blitz I've done. I'm very happy. What actually my son's going to do, he's going to, while he's out in the valley, his best friend's getting married. He's out there now. He came to visit me a few days ago with his lady, his fiance. They're a really nice couple, and I'm so happy for both of them, and I wish them all the best, okay? And lots of love. Anyway, he's out to his best friend's wedding, and it's going to be held in Kentville, Nova Scotia, in the valley, close to Wolfville. And he was out there in Wolfville where they made the Church Brewery Atlantic's touchdown official beer for Touchdown Atlantic, at Wolfville last year. So I don't know who's going to have it this year. Probably somebody in Halifax. Okay, and he's going to get his buddies all together that he grew up with, they're really close friends, and they're going to do a chant, "We love Spiders, CFL Red Zone." We'll record it, and then when I'm going to take this studio mic and magnify it, where I can get the best quality sound out of it, and record it on my new computer desktop, and I'm going to throw that over top, and I'm going to finalize it. And then I'm going to, my next session, not the next one coming out this, because I'm doing two back-to-back here, next week or the week after, probably in a week or so, I'm going to play it back for you. Hopefully I have it done. And my son is also working on my jersey. Like I said, I'm going to appear for Manila. I'm going to have my Spiders CFL Red Zone little dress-up jersey for the Touchdown Atlantic in St. Mary's. We're going to talk about that too. Touchdown Atlantic in St. Mary's on July 29th. And now I noticed the scalpers have tickets up for sale. Can you imagine? Can you imagine on the site? It's unbelievable what's going on there. I don't know what they're doing, but they're very manipulative with how do you know what's sold, what's not sold. I don't know what's going on. Blame that on Randy and Brosy. Anyway, I just wanted to show you if you can see, but I don't know if you can see or not. Come on, don't be wasting my time here. It always does. I hate Apple. I just hate Apple. I really do. I can't stand it. But anyway, what it's going to be like my hat color. Okay, I don't think you can see that there. But it's going to be like my hat color. My official, that's my color. Spiders CFL Red Zone Rule hat color, and the jersey's going to have a V-neck. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to say Spiders CFL Red Zone Rule on it. Chant loud in the red zone. We want Spiders CFL Red Zone Rule. And on the shoulders, the black shoulders, are going to have gray footballs with Spiders CFL Red Zone Rule logo with laces, like a football, not three laces. Okay, and the sleeves are going to be like that. I don't know if you can see. The sleeves are going to be like that, and it's going to have Spiders CFL Red Zone Rule logo in the sleeves with black cuffs, and then the back. Okay, come on now, don't frig me up here. Apple, you're just terrible. You're absolutely terrible. I can't stand you, really. Okay, I can't stand Apple software. I want BlackBerry back. And there's in the back, there's going to be my banner. Okay, I don't know if you see, it's interfering the window there. It's going to be my banner with the pitch, okay? With the pitch, the full pitch that I'm wearing right here, that my son gave me a jersey on. It's right here, okay? All right? But it's going to lose that gut, which I'm going to work on because I'm going to start swimming soon when we get some decent weather. So that's it. So I wanted to go over that with you. So that's going to be interesting because, and I'm going to wear my hat like this, wear my hat. And so my Spider Super Red Zone Roll hat, the one that says Spider Super Red Zone Roll, he's right here. Okay, so let's get into what's going on. Okay, the first week in the CFL, the Alouettes won, and see, a new owner, local owner, the place was packed, 22,000 I believe. Something like when Calvillo, and I like Cody Chivago because of what they did to him in Saskatchewan. I don't think that was right, blaming it all on them. They're cruel in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, by the way, Winnipeg home opener, they're not getting, there's a lot of tickets available. Man, Randy Ambrosie's really doing a good job, isn't he? When he relies on one franchise, can you imagine? And then he brags. I'll talk about what he said on 12 radio very, very shortly as well, if I can, or maybe the next session. But anyway, I listened to it this morning, so I wrote a few notes down here. But anyway, I was glad the Alouettes won. Ottawa played good, but they didn't have Masoli. Masoli was out. He's still out from that knee injury he had, that illegal hit. And Arbuckle played. He didn't play bad, but Montreal, I'll tell you, here's the problem, the Canadian ratio, again, major problem. And Randy Ambrosie goes on 1,200 in Ottawa because he's going to be there for the game tonight. He's finally making some rounds, and he says, oh, you know, Genius Sports, by the way, the platform that with the statistics and to promote the CFL is not working at all. He says it's only 50 to 60%. It won't be done to the end of June. Why would you introduce it if it's not going to work, right? Randy Ambrosie, come on, you're desperate, and you're trying to save your job. The government should have got rid of you. Because you have destroyed the CFL. You've destroyed the Saskatchewan market, the Calgary Stampeders market. Look at their home opener. They had nobody there. It's unbelievable what's going on. Losing 30% to season ticket holders. Saskatchewan lost probably even more than that, at least that. Ottawa has lost, I mean, by the CEO was on 1200 TSN radio. By the way, they shut down TSN radio station, Bell, and they I don't know, thousands of people have lost their jobs at Bell, so they're not in very good shape. So I don't know what's going to happen with TSN and CFL with their TV contract in the future, because they're not in good shape, Bell. And the ratings were down 12% in the first week of the opening games in the CFL last week. They're all down 12%. Can you imagine? So I know a lot of people cutting cable, but still, they're not promoting the CFL. They're not promoting. Randy never, Brosie's ever. He doesn't know how to promote. He doesn't know how to market it. He's a terrible businessman. And if you compare it with Mark Cohen, there's no comparison. Mark Cohen's stadiums were full. He was the first person that really became interested in my CFL Red Zone role. Imagine. And Randy Ambrosie suppresses it and smothers it deliberately because of his ridiculous hash mark rule. By the way, before closing the Alouette on the Canadian ratio issue, problematic, serious issue, handcuffing, dictating, serious issue, where they're not allowed, they're forced to play weak Canadian O-linemen that don't deserve to even be on the field and can't recruit the best O-linemen to play in the CFL. Can you imagine? So they have like 4 Canadian O-linemen in Montreal on the Alouettes, and there was 8 sacks in Cody Fajardo. Imagine that? They're terrible. Not one of them belongs, and they're only there because of the guaranteed Canadian ratio. They're forced to play them. That's what's wrong with the CFL. So Randy Ambrosie's a bullshitter when he says, oh, we're trying, with Genius Sport, trying to make the CFL product the best it can. How can you when you don't even allow the best players to play in the CFL because of the Canadian ratio? You're in bed with the Canadian Players Association, belong to them. He fought the CFL in court when they wanted to get rid of the Canadian ratio, and it's a real major issue, and it's just, It's just snowballing and snowballing. Same in Saskatchewan. The reason Edmonton lost because they actually demoted one of the guaranteed Canadian linemen to the practice roster. This is the problem with the CFL is the Canadian ratio. The huge problem with the CFL, and it's destroying the CFL. How can you have a professional football league or a professional sports league if you don't allow the best players to play and you're handcuffed and dictated by a Canadian Players Association made up of mostly, by the way, 465 or the majority of them are Canadian players, Canadian ratio players, right? Roster and starting ratio players because of their passport and because of the Canadian ratio, and they had the vote. So, but the only way around this to allow the best available players to play and start and play in the CFL for an entire CFL game is the governors have to break the Canadian Union, shut them down, and screw it TSN because they don't care. They were just trying to stay in business. They any product they can because they lost the NHL to put on TSN. But they have to shut them down and lock them out, and they have to get rid of the Canadian ratio. They have to do it now. We're talking about expansion with the Canadian ratio. And I'll talk about that in a minute too, with what's happening in Halifax with Touchdown Atlantic, when Brosey was on 1200, what he was saying this morning or last night, I forget, but he's flying in tonight, okay, for the Red Blacks Stampeders game. And by the way, Mayor, you got to play a lot better, and the Edmonton quarterback starting to have to play a lot better. And as far as the Alouettes go, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, and the Canadian ratio was killing the Montreal Alouettes. And one-year contracts are killing the Montreal Alouettes and killing the CFL, and that's on Randy Brosey's watch. He's the one that allowed this out and pushed this. They should have been locked out for that alone. Canadian ratio, they should have been locked out and shut down. And their Canadian Players Association's got to be demolished. And they need my CFL Red Zone rule desperately. And by the way, I just want to skip up to the last game, the Edmonton game on Sunday in Edmonton. They had 32,000. They say there was a fair amount of Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans there, but that's what they said the attendance was. But it was a guarantee, you know, if they don't win, they get a free ticket to the next game. So they should have won that game. They were on the 1 yard line. Two things happened why they didn't win the game. One was an interception because of the narrow hash marks. A little makes the passes even shorter. It's easier to intercept. Easy, and that's what happened. It's so easy. Way easier with the narrow hash marks, which is an absolute snow job rule that's terrible. It's gimmicky. It's a little alteration, little tweak. It doesn't do anything. And Brosey says, oh, you're going to see way more bigger plays for big touchdowns because of the narrow hash mark. All this bullshit, and saying it's going to make the CFL the best brand of football in the world. And it's all bullshit. Yeah, the worst brand of football in the world, and Brosey, it does nothing. He says it reduces 2 and outs. It actually increases 2 and outs. Actually, kickers, because of narrow hash marks, are missing easy chip shot field goals 20 yards out. Okay, missing them and hitting the upright because of narrow hash marks. And by the way, Brosey, if your hash mark moves are so fantastic, like you say, why are on fields where there's CFL football being played and the CFL where there's university football being played, they haven't changed their hash marks, and they have to put a couple lines in the middle of them because of your ridiculous gimmicky hash mark rule. That's an absolute joke, and it does nothing but make our CFL 3-down game worse. Much easier to intercept, more 2 and outs, more little sideways little passes under 10 yards. You're a joke, and it doesn't. You know, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last year had some really big touchdown, but Caleris, and it's not because of your ridiculous gimmicky little snow job bullshit hash mark rule, Randy and Brosey. It's because he's a good quarterback and he throws the ball downfield. It's not because of your narrow hash marks. You're a liar. You know, you lie about everything and bullshit about everything. You need to go and suppress my rule when it makes a complete fool out of your hash mark rule and blows it out of the water completely, my CFL Red Zone rule. And you wait till I get the radio pitch, and I think it's going to be so dynamic and so interesting the way I put it together. You're going to love it. You're going to love the pitch. That they're going to have to allow it to play when I say Spider here, listen up, and then I'm going to play it bang, and there's no way they're going to shut me down because wait till you hear what's in it. in the 2.5 minutes. It'll blow you away, and it's going to be powerful. And I'm gonna go on every radio station. I get right across Canada and all the CFL cities, and I'm going to get it out there, Randy and Bruce. And you're not going to stop me in what you're doing now, trying to suppress and silence because of ego, because of jealousy, because it wasn't your baby, because it blows. And you didn't come up with it, and the CFL rules committee didn't come up with it. All the egotistical people, involved in the CFL here, they deliberately are silencing and suppressing my CFL red zone rule because it blows their hash mark and all their little gimmicky, little ridiculous rule changes out of the water. If you combine all, it blows them all out of the water. Okay, my SPYDER CFL red zone rule will be the biggest rule ever adopted by the CFL, and probably in professional football, because it will become a more powerful and a more exciting and more entertaining rule that's full of drama in the red zone versus the NFL fourth down. Our third down will be a way more powerful, more exciting down than the NFL fourth down in the red zone, because 4 downs is too many downs in the red zone. And 2 and outs, by the way, resulting in easy chip shot field goals, non-eventful easy chip shot field goals in the red zone in the CFL, are too few of downs. But the ideal number of downs to play football in the red zone and to create the most excitement and the most drama and to be the most entertaining rule in football is 3 downs, which would be enforced with my CFL red zone rule if it's needed in the 3rd down to score a touchdown. And by the way, and if they're stopped and maintain possession of the ball and stay inside the red zone, because my CFL red zone rule enforcement rule, they still get to kick SPYDER CFL red zone kick from the 35 yard to 7 for the 42, which is a very challenging kick, and adds even more drama. And by the way, I want to just explain that my CFL red zone rule is there now. And by the way, all the rules are still the same. For instance, okay, so don't be confused by it. So if they're on 2nd down, like you've seen this past week, and in the red zone, and they're forced outside, or okay, on 3rd down, okay, and all the rules still apply. It's when they're in the 20-yard line in the red zone to the goal line with my CFL red zone rule, and they stay inside the red zone, right, on the 20, okay, to the goal line. That's when, if the 3rd down's needed, if they don't score a touchdown in the 1st and 2nd down, they are, my CFL red zone rule being an enforcement rule, they'll be playing exciting 3-down football to score a touchdown. And if they're forced outside, or if there's outside the red zone, they don't get my SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick. But if they stay inside, maintain possession of the ball, and like they get to kick SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick, right? But if there's a turnover or a fumble or an interception, like, the same rules apply. So my CFL red zone rule is easy to understand. I got it on my Facebook page, my latest full presentation. I did my CFL red zone rule, and the CFL red zone rule, the first part on the nutshell, and there's my CFL red zone rule diagram on my latest full presentation. That's very stunning and striking and eye-catching. And by the way, my CFL red zone rule is there every single game to stare in the CFL right in the eye, which it was, again, the first week this year's 2023 CFL season. By the way, in relation to Touchdown Atlantic and Halifax, and Brosey was saying that last night or this morning on 1200 in Ottawa, you can get it. You can hear the interview, okay, on the CFL Twitter news. He was saying that, but he's really sort of deferring or deflecting it somewhat, and he sounds more optimistic on Quebec. So you have Quebec versus Halifax, okay? But Quebec's a better bet, because Quebec now is showing it just because Montreal new owner, who's a local owner, billionaire, and look what he did the first game. He practically filled the place. Imagine the rivalry between Quebec and Montreal and Ottawa in the Eastern Division, and Toronto. And by the way, they have a footprint. They have a foundation there with a stadium in Laval where they can put 16,000 in now. So for probably 30 or 40 million or even less, they could put skybox, expand that easily to 22, 23, 24,000, and they could easily, have a CFL 10th franchise there. Way easier than Halifax, where you have communist, socialist, radical leftists, liberals that are destroying our city, that are more interested on what they're doing to destroy our city, than they would ever be in the CFL, which they've shown before, and basically threw them out of town. Was going to give them 20 million. Imagine that, 20 million, and want to put 80 million towards the old forum that should be shut down only because of politics, right? Because who the council is. It's unbelievable. And nothing towards the CFL stadium, nothing. They basically, they shut them down. And basically, said get out of town. And they reneged on the 20 million. 20 million's a joke. So they're all in, it's all political with them. They're radical leftist socialists, and they're in with the CPL, with Derek Martin and the Wanderers ground, with little Mickey Mouse makeshift stadium. They're gonna build them, the 6-5 whatever it's called. It's ridiculous, 10,000 seats, and the CFL. There's nothing going to happen with the CFL. St. Mary's is not a footprint there. You can't. They're not going to take away the track and field program. You can't. There's no room there to even put a pop-up CFL stadium there for Atlantic Schooners for franchise, and no one would want that either. That they wouldn't want that, because they'd want a facility that they could get 22,000 at least seats, and with skyboxes and all the amenities, and expandable for CFL for a Grey Cup game. If you were a CFL owner, because they all want a Grey Cup game because of the bottom line. I mean, why wouldn't you? So there'd be no opportunity there at all. So I think it's going to phase out. January 29th, it'd be all over. They're going to pull out of here. They're going to Quebec City. You're going to see the 10th CFL franchise in Quebec City within, I say, 3 years. That's what I believe. And because Halifax is a radical leftist socialist run city, and which they've destroyed our city with their drug panhandlers and their, all their racist, Black Lives Matter on their streets, and it's unbelievable. All lives matter, by the way. They've ruined our city, and they're pushing druggies, and they're all over Springard Road. They're breaking into businesses. They're all in their public parks. It's unbelievable. And they're not homeless people. They're druggies and they're criminals. And they're McNeil, Premier of Nova Scotia, let him 550 out of jail, and Mayor Savage is just adding to it. It's growing like cancer. They got to go, all of them.